Hey guys, welcome to Series World. Today I'm going to explain a romantic drama series called Playing with Fire from 2019. Turn on subtitles and spoilers ahead. The sixth episode opens with Gildardo and Eliseo meeting with Tiago. Gildardo tells Tiago to switch identities with Fabrizio and to leave the place. Because Tiago has no one here, nobody will suspect anything, and they'll tell Martina that he has left. Tiago is dumbfounded hearing this and denies doing this crazy thing. Eliseo and Gildardo then start beating him to make him do what they say. The scene cuts to Andrea and Fabrizio sleeping in his bed. Fabrizio wakes up before her and starts going through her photos. Andrea also wakes up, and they view the photos together. After that, they go back to making out with each other. Meanwhile, Camila is saying goodbye to Peter. After he leaves, she gets in her car and calls Fabrizio, but it goes straight to voicemail. Back to Fabrizio and Andrea. Fabrizio asks her what her plan is now. Andrea tells him that she has gotten a job offer from a studio in Miami. She asks him whether he's willing to go there with her. Fabrizio assures her that he'll go anywhere with her. The scene cuts to Gildardo coming back to update Jorge. He informs Jorge that Tiago has finally agreed to do the job. Jorge is satisfied hearing this. He tells him that he'll let him know when they should start. Martina comes up to Jorge and Gildardo leaves after greeting her. Martina tells Jorge that she's feeling dizzy after taking the pills. Jorge starts caring for her and tells her that they'll find out why she's feeling like this. In the meantime, he suggests she take a lot of rest. Meanwhile, Fabrizio is getting ready to go to work, but Andrea is requesting him to spend the day with her in the house. Fabrizio sits beside her. He tells her that he can't do this because she knows how her father is. Moreover, if he learns about their plan, he'll make their life impossible. Andrea tells him to stop talking about her dad, but Fabrizio has to go, so he leaves after saying his goodbye. Outside, he sees Camila waiting for him in her car. She gets out and asks why he didn't pick up her call. He explains that he was very tired and turned off his phone. Camila tells him that she can see the signs from miles away. He has been avoiding her lately. Fabrizio explains that this kind of affair always comes to an end. Camila reminds him that in these lands he'll need her permission even to breathe. Meanwhile, Andrea can be seen from outside taking a shower and getting dressed up. Outside, Camila pulls Fabrizio closer and kisses him. Camila then tells him that she'll call him again later. After Camila leaves, Fabrizio also gets in his car. Andrea is ready to leave too, but she forgets the keys and goes back to find them. After Fabrizio makes sure that Andrea has left the house, he also starts leaving for work. The scene changes to Jorge explaining work to an employee in his office. He notices from his window that Fabrizio has come to the shop. After going inside the shop, Fabrizio tells Pancho that things have been going bad between him and Camila. It's going to end in a really bad way. So, he has decided to leave the place with Andrea. Fabrizio tells Pancho to keep the shop and everything, and they don't have to split it between them. While they're talking, Jorge enters the shop and they change the topic. The scene cuts to Andrea meeting with Martina. Martina reminds her that it'll be her grandfather's 80th birthday after a few days, so she has to prepare for his birthday. Martina then takes some pills, and Andrea asks whether she really has to take all these pills. Andrea also expresses that she looks very sad to her. She suggests Martina learns to stand up against Jorge, but Martina doesn't know whether she should. They then go back to planning her grandfather's party. Andrea tells Martina to find the old family photos, and they'll use them for a display outside the party for the guests. Martina also thinks that it's a great idea. While they're talking, Jorge comes back and calls for Andrea in his office. Jorge asks Andrea why she wasn't working with Gildardo in the office. But Andrea reminds him that she has told him she won't work for his company. She can help with the harvest while she's here, but she won't join the company. Jorge gets furious hearing this and tells her that he won't let her do this. So Jorge orders her to go to the plantation right now and start working with Gildardo. Andrea leaves his office and goes to her room. Luisa follows her to the room and informs her that Gildardo has been informing Jorge about her expenses. Moreover, when Andrea is not present in the house, he goes into her room and goes through her stuff. Luisa tells Andrea that Gildardo is a weird man and he's obsessed with her. Andrea assures her that she'll be careful. Fabrizio is now seen working in the shop. He gets a text from Camila to meet her in the warehouse. Fabrizio is annoyed seeing the text and tells Pancho that he can't stand her. He also informs him that he's going to leave with Andrea. Meanwhile, Andrea has gone to meet with Gildardo. She asks him why he was keeping a check on her credit card transactions. He admits that he's just doing what his boss has ordered him to do, but he's on her side. Gildardo also tells her that they'll have a beautiful future together. Andrea tells him to get out of his head as they'll have no future together. What they had was just a mistake. Gildardo then threatens her to tell Jorge about the fact that they were in a relationship, and Andrea even lost their baby boy. Andrea tells him that she was never in love with him and it was a mistake. Hearing this, Gildardo starts forcing himself on her. Andrea pushes him off of her and tells him to stop threatening her. She also adds that he can tell Jorge anything he wants, and that doesn't matter to her. She then leaves his office. After she leaves, Eliseo comes to the office. He asks Gildardo when they'll start the job as he needs his money, but Gildardo tells him to wait for his boss's order. Eliseo makes fun of Jorge for waiting to complete the job, which makes Gildardo angry. He tells him to stop mocking Jorge and just follow their orders. Eliseo then leaves the office. The scene cuts to Andrea, Martina, and Jorge having lunch together. Jorge asks why Gildardo was not there. Andrea tells him that she's happy that he's not here, because he also acts like he's right about everything. But Jorge thinks she hates him because he's her teacher in the office. While they're talking, Gildardo comes to have his lunch. Jorge tells Andrea not to be rude to him. Gildardo takes his seat beside Andrea. He then proceeds to tell Jorge that Andrea and he are in a relationship. Jorge becomes happy hearing this, but Andrea leaves the room. After she leaves, Jorge and Gildardo keep talking about his and Andrea's relationship, and Jorge congratulates him. But Martina tells Jorge that Andrea is not happy about this. But to Jorge, relationship is not just about happiness. It's about commitment. Hearing this, Martina also leaves the table. Martina sees that Andrea is driving away in her Jeep. Meanwhile, Fabrizio is working in the coffee shop suggesting coffee to a customer. Andrea comes to the store and Fabrizio asks her whether there's something wrong. She replies that she can't take this place anymore. It's suffocating her. Andrea is worried whether Fabrizio has changed his decision, but Fabrizio assures her that he hasn't been this sure in his lifetime. They then share a kiss. Eliseo passes by the store, so Fabrizio hides Andrea. After Eliseo leaves, Andrea tells Fabrizio that they'll run away after her grandfather's party. Fabrizio agrees but tells her to go for now as it's quite risky. The scene cuts to Martina and Jorge. Martina asks Jorge why he is doing this to Andrea after clearly seeing that she hates Gildardo. Jorge doesn't think so because they've always liked each other since they were kids. But Martina reminds him that only Gildardo liked Andrea. It was a one-sided thing. That's why she had so many other boyfriends. But Jorge tells her that she was with so many boys, because women like to mess with men. Martina is disgusted listening to Jorge and tells him that Jorge was also like Gildardo when he was pursuing her. After some arguing, Martina announces that she'll divorce him. Jorge gets angry hearing this and starts choking her. He lets her go before saying he'll kill her before she can divorce. The scene cuts to Gildardo's meeting with Eliseo. Eliseo hands him 2 guns he brought for him. Gildardo doesn't mind how he got his hands on the guns, but he just doesn't want to get in any trouble with the police. Eliseo assures him that they won't face any problems. Gildardo then tells him to wait for his call after giving him the money. The scene cuts to Mari Carmen and Poncho having some drinks in the bar. She informs him that she'll be late tomorrow because she has to help her boss's neighbors. Dolores and Hilario are also seen in the bar. Dolores asks him whether it's true that Peter is very rich. Hilario confirms that it is true. Peter is a gentleman too, but he can get dangerous if someone messes with his things. Poncho then gets up to pay their bills and tells Mari Carmen to wait for him. While Poncho is away, Eliseo comes up to Mari Carmen and starts flirting with her with bad intentions. But Poncho comes back soon, and they leave the bar. The scene cuts to Andrea's grandfather's party. Everyone is enjoying the photo exhibition Andrea did for the party. She's with her mom and grandfather and is greeting everyone at the party. Meanwhile, tension is present between Martina, Fabrizio, and Camila in the party. Jorge is also keeping an eye on Fabrizio and Martina. The scene changes to Mari Carmen. She's going through the plantation when Eliseo stops her. He starts forcing himself on her. She tries to stop, but he throws her on the ground. Back at the party, Camila is flirting with Fabrizio, but Fabrizio doesn't respond to her. While they're talking, a man accidentally spills his drink on Camila. Dolores then takes her away to help. Meanwhile, Gildardo is congratulating Andrea on her exhibition. Andrea tells him that what he did back then with Jorge was not good. They'll never be together. Andrea then leaves the place. Fabrizio comes up to Gildardo. Gildardo asks Fabrizio whether he likes her. He doesn't reply. Gildardo tells him even if he did, Andrea wouldn't notice him. He then starts mocking Fabrizio and leaves. Back to Camila, she's crying in the restroom after what happened with Fabrizio. Worried, Peter is trying to calm her from outside. Later, Camila drops Peter off at the party and leaves. Dolores comes back to the party too and warns Fabrizio that Camila is like a ticking time bomb now. Fabrizio listens to her and then goes to Martina. He tells her sorry for what happened. Meanwhile, Jorge and Gildardo are keeping an eye on Martina and Fabrizio. The episode ends with Jorge ordering Gildardo to start the job. To watch more explanations of these kinds of series, click on the videos on your screen. And don't forget to let me know how you feel about today's video in the comments down below. And at last, thanks for watching.